Welcome, everyone. This is a very exciting day, and I've been particularly looking forward to it. We are sitting here in the middle of Midtown Harrisburg in what used to be the old Midtown Post Office. You've heard that story. And before it was the Midtown Post Office, it was a Victorian frame house. And I've always felt that this is one of the most interesting architectural stories in the city, because if you look at it today, of course, you have this commercial brick cinder block structure on the first floor and a beautiful Victorian house up above. And the question is, how did that happen? Well, the story is that back in the 1950s, Ali Rosenberg, who was the founder of Ollie's Bargain Discount Outlets, was looking at various real estate ventures, and he had a good one, a gold mine, which is leasing post offices to the U.S. Postal Service. And they wanted one in Midtown, and they decided they would do this space, but he did it on the cheap. He figured he only needed one floor for the post office, so he took the existing house that was here, elevated the second floor on sort of giant braces with a crane, stilts, built a simple cinder block construction, and then saved on the roof by dropping the original house back on top. And that's why you have this very odd, but I think a building with incredible character and incredible stories. So when I moved to Midtown, and the Midtown Scholar moved to Midtown, this was our first home, and it had been abandoned as a post office. And DEP, which was located in the building across the street, which now has Hack, had annexed the building, and they were using it to store rocks and minerals. And it was refrigerated. It had this weird spaghetti-like refrigeration system that was going up into the second floor. And other than that, it was pretty deserted. And we were talking about colors. It had classic 1950s post office green. And there's very little remaining of the original post office. But in the bathroom, if you check this out later, you can see the tiles. And those tiles are the original bathroom tiles. Okay. Underneath, you've painted them very nicely now, and they look fantastic.
Well, yeah, they were painted before I painted it over again.
But if you were to chip away, you'd find that they're wonderful green tiles from the old post office. Now, a lot of people remember coming here in the post office. I think it closed sometime in like the late 70s or the very early 80s. So it's been a while, but there's still memory. At that time, Boyd Street here was a street, and there were houses all through the back there now. And along came Hack and a plan to redevelop the neighborhood, a master plan, and they put in our first sort of green alleyway, or urban meadow, as they like to call it. And isn't it wonderful? It's just an alley of serenity in the middle of a bustling city. So, and I love what you have done with the space, because this is really incredible. It has a wonderful footprint, which you can transform into other things. But I love the stacking of the bikes. Mm-hmm. Reminds me of the original bookstore, because we had books sort of stacked all the way up in the center and on the side. And if you look on the walls, you've created some of the sturdiest, nicest bookshelves anywhere in the city. And I mean, very thick. Is that oak, or is this? Yeah,
oak, yeah,
very thick oak and
recycled pallets.
Recycled pallets. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. It has a great feel with tracks so that they're adjustable, and I assume that's so we can browse all the wonderful merchandise that we have here, all the biking accessories that anyone could want, in addition to purchasing a bicycle. But it also brings back memories, because we used to have shelving and books in here as well. So it's a wonderful sort of story of transition. After the bookstore moved a little bit closer to the market, this became the home for Startup, and was a co-working space. At that time, I think we still had a little stage in the front, and I love what you've done with the front too. Now it's become sort of a lounge and seating area, but you can still do concerts, right? I saw
we
doing
have done
that.
some concerts.
Yeah, and it's really wonderful. So, and there is ample parking for anyone who wants to come and is watching this and is interested in coming here to purchase a bicycle. There is parking all along the side of the building, which is easily accessible. It's probably the easiest place to park anywhere in Midtown. And here we are. And so that's a little bit of a story of the history. If you put that in the context of the neighborhood of Midtown, we're seeing wonderful, wonderful things happen. And they're happening because of entrepreneurs that want to come in here and work hard every day. Understand you're not only repairing bikes essentially from scratch, but you're working on a website, and you're constantly looking at ways to sort of expand your business.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's wonderful to see. So you also have a business which is based on, as I understand it, you can correct this, but it's based on salvaging and then repairing older
Essentially,
books.
bikes.
Yeah.
We're taking a lot of stuff that would have been sold new at a bike shop, whether it was Holmes or Pedal Pusher or Rainbow or Skico or all those old names, Bushies, that are no longer familiar but are familiar to a lot of people from back in the day. And we're taking bikes and basically stripping them down to the frame and then rebuilding them with all new kind of components, brake pads, cables, housing, tires, tubes, all that stuff. So we're essentially making a new product again, except for it has dents and dings and scratches, but it's all polished up and looks good. And then it's at a more affordable price than the new bike shops would be, because they are prohibitively expensive for a lot of people. Like when I worked at Pedal Pusher, our least expensive bike was $350, which is still a decent chunk of change for a lot of people. Plus, they were out of the city a little bit, and we used to hear all the time when I worked there, like, oh, I wish there was a bike shop in the city. Like, why hasn't anybody opened something lit? I love the We Fix It shop, but when the old man passed away from that, we haven't had anything. And Ross is great, too. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Yep, there he is. And Ross is great, too, for that kind of thing, but Ross doesn't sell bikes, and his hours are more limited because he's out and fixing bikes in the neighborhood for a lot of people, so his is kind of more outreach stuff. Than what we do as like a retail operation.
And in case people watching this at home don't know what
don't
Ross does,
recognize
we're talking
him,
about Recycle Bicycle,
Exactly.
which is an incredible resource, and not too far from here, just up.
No,
down
not
this
far
way.
at all. Yeah, Ross, I would say, is actually one of the people who helped me get started in this, in the sense of I met you in high school when I was building this crazy contraption of a wooden recumbent bicycle, and I was looking for like cheaper parts so I didn't have to go out and buy all new parts for this crazy thing that I wasn't even sure if it was going to work or no. Yeah. So that's probably 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. And then I started volunteering with you, and then got more adept at fixing bikes and started doing it for people on the side. Worked a few different other jobs, got hired by Pedal Pusher, and then worked for them for 2 seasons before coming down here, because there was such a big demand that I kept seeing from volunteering with him and working up there. There was just this huge demand for a bike shop in town that did all used equipment, and nobody else was doing it. And I'm like, this is kind of dumb. Why is nobody else doing this? So I was like, okay, I'll just move down.
You saw that there was a need, and you came in, and this city, our city, needs more retail, and this is an example of bringing retail to Harrisburg. And it's every bike is unique. Although
definitely.
Although you're salvaging older models, you're putting your own market stamp.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody follows my Facebook or Instagram, but a lot of what we've done is take pictures of people with their bicycles.
I checked them out. They were great.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah, I used to joke. It used to be a joke that the only things on my phone were not pictures of people. They were trucks, tractors, trains, or whatever else. All those the 3 T's that make boyhood kind of nice. And so that was the running joke between my parents and I and my friends, is that was the only thing on my phone was pictures of that kind of stuff. And then what I realized is there were some interesting stories of just humanistic side of how people relate or even mimic their bikes. Kind of like that whole your pets imitate you,
Sure.
you imitate your pets.
That's what I thought.
It's very interesting in the used bike world how stuff will just fall into place. Like somebody will be looking for something very, very specific that I haven't seen in a long time, and they need it for whatever reason, and a day or two will go by and we locate it. Like, it's just weird, coincidental kind of stuff like that reassures that we're doing the right thing, because we'll get stuff where it's really a God kind of thing, or just weird that stuff shows up that we exactly are needing. Yeah. So I really like that about this kind of place, is that stuff like that happens pretty often.
Well, that's great. So if you live within a short drive or a short bike ride from here, and you have a bicycle, you can bring your bicycle here to have it maintenanced and repaired.
Yeah,
too,
definitely,
right?
definitely.
Not just about buying a new bike.
Right, and it's always funny. I use the new to you kind of phrase because they're not really new. But yeah, it's always funny when people come in and they're like, hey, do you guys maintenance bikes? And I kind of chuckle to myself every time, because it's like, yeah, we do, because most of the bikes, when we rebuild them, get stripped down, as far as a lot of those bikes that are leaning on the edge there.
Really?
Just
all the way down to the frame.
Yeah,
okay.
the ones that have been repainted, actually. But yeah, we go that far. So it's always funny when people ask that, and I'm like, we do probably more stripped down rebuild work than most any other bike shop in the area. So yes, we repair stuff.
That's fantastic. You can
Yeah.
do a custom paint job too?
Yeah, I have a friend who does powder coating over in
Wow.
Camp Hill. So he does that for me, about $100 a frame. So if people want a bike that we're kind of building up anyway, for $100, I'm like, you can have it any color you want.
All right. Well, I'm definitely coming here for my next bike. One of the things that frustrates me about bicycle buying today, and I've only bought it for my children, and they're still
Gotcha.
pretty young, is that it's sort of this humanless big box store experience,
Yeah,
right? You got
yeah.
Walmart, you got Target. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where you go if you're not really sure. You
Right,
might
right.
go to Dick's, I guess, or
Right,
something
which
like
is kind
that.
of a step up.
Yeah, but probably not. And you go and it's sort of one size fits all, and you sort of measure how tall your child is, and then you try and figure the right bike.
Yeah.
And there's one brand and maybe two colors.
Yeah.
And you take it home.
Right.
And
It may not work.
immediately
Yeah.
you have a problem with the brakes or a
Yeah.
problem adjusting
Yeah.
something. And most of those bikes, they're made in China, right? I mean,
Right, but
even a
yeah.
reputable American, some of the
Yeah.
American companies are making their bikes in China.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of funny. I actually work with a lot of people who, like, their options are limited in terms of monetarily, so they do wind up going to Walmart.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be not necessarily the other choice because I'm a little bit more expensive, like I'm more at Dick's kind of prices.
Actually,
But-
you're $100 to $300.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
That's what you pay at Walmart
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
you pay
exactly.
easily. I mean,
But
that's a
yeah.
great deal for a bicycle.
Yeah, I
think.
found what's funny is I have actually taken some people and who have Walmart bikes but are using them and keep having problems.
Yeah.
And kind of what we do is actually show them that, hey, this is actually costing you more in the long run. And so I usually will set them up on something, even if they have to like pay me as they go. But at least, and it's kind of a selfish interest, at least so I don't see them as often.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that
Yeah.
I don't want to see people. It's just like, if I'm seeing you every day for mechanical problems for your bike, you probably should be on a different bike. So let's at least get you set up on something so I don't have to see you as often, and you can have a bike that's reliable for you for transportation.
I think
And then
that's
I take
exciting.
I
Yeah.
take the other bikes. I typically will trade in, maybe give a little bit of cash for their existing Walmart bike, and then head to his place with them and whatever he needs to do, whether it's recycling
Aha.
for
Well,
components. Yeah.
You give them away, so that's
Yeah.
acceptable. But hopefully, you don't have to repair them constantly.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the big things about being down here is I try and take stuff that may not be working for people and give them an affordable option that's a lot better.
That's great.
So yeah.
That is a real expertise, and I don't know where people can get that today other than here. So come visit the Underground Bike Shop here at 1519 North 3rd Street. It is. Can you drop in? Do you need an
Oh, yeah.
appointment if you need
Well,
to get your bike?
Yes and no. So if it's something really simple that we can do right then and there, like a flat change, we'll do it. But if it's something like more extensive servicing that's going to take more than half an hour or an hour, we do schedule it, and we are scheduled about 2.5 weeks out right now. It's getting warm and busy again. But what I've been doing with people is if you make an appointment, we'll set it for the date that's out, and hopefully you can still ride the bike in the meantime. Or even somebody this morning called me, they're like, hey, my bike needs a tune-up and it has a flat tire. Okay, we can take care of the flat tire right away, and then we'll schedule an appointment for a tune-up so you can still ride it until that date, and then it's here for a few days, and then you get it back again.
Good. Do you do scooters too, by any chance?
We've worked on a few scooters. I haven't really sold any.
I see you have unicycles. So
We do, yes, I ride unicycle as well. Mine's, yeah, over there.
And
behind
is it
Jerry.
possible to get unicycle lessons?
Yes, believe it or not, we do that. We also do some bicycle lessons.
Anyone else? Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we also do some bicycle lessons. So we've had quite a few people, adults, actually
You do
mainly
bicycle
adults.
lessons. That's good.
Yeah.
This would be a nice area to learn.
It is,
right
yeah,
in here.
especially with all the
Right.
hack parking lots that
Yes.
aren't being used. So yeah, we've actually taught a few people who, at least the example of the girl who I'm thinking of, she's 17 or 18, never learned how to ride.
Okay.
So we were actually able to teach her how to ride using some of Hack's parking lot.
That's great.
Yeah, so we offer that service as well.
Very
yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited for you. I think you're exactly what the neighborhood needed. I think we've got
look,
more
somebody on the
things. We've got more things to come. Everything is really popping, and I'm glad. Hey, they're talking about walking in.
Yeah, exactly.
With
These
the
darn
Schwinn.
customers.
Well, that's
yeah.
fantastic. So we do have something we'd like to present you.
excellent.
Ross and I have conspired to present you
Oh, with the diamond.
with, for your windows, which you have on the side of the front, a beautiful
Yes.
vintage neon bicycling sign. Isn't that
That's
nice?
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd asked him about that. I'm like, hey, if you ever go to sell that, I'd be interested in that.
Well, it's not being sold. It's being presented
That
to
is
you
being
in honor.
presented, yeah.
In honor of your grand
It'll go-
opening and
it'll go
ribbon
right
cutting.
along with the mongoose and the
All right, I'm going
Bridgestone
to just stick it
and
down so we don't lose it.
too.
And unless you have a few other words you'd like to say, I thought we could go outside and cut the ribbon.
Yeah, let's
Does that
do
sound good?
Yeah, I've got bikes to repair, but we should get this done first, probably.
All right, let's go. Let's get you back to work as quickly as possible. Let's tell your hours. Let's make sure your hours are clear. You open every
Okay.
day, or
The only day we're not here is Wednesdays. We take that as our
Wednesdays.
day to do normal things like go to the bank or
All
see
right.
a doctor or whatever else. But then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 to 7, Saturday, 9 to 4, and then Sunday from 11 to 2. But I'm sure I'll do more extended hours in the summertime for all the Greenbelt
that's going to be
riders.
great, and
Yeah.
lots of excitement happening. All right, we're going to count down from 10 because we can. Are we ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes! Congratulations!
Thank you.
This is fantastic.
Awesome, thank you.
Look, a customer. So we were there having our ribbon cutting, and you came in with your bicycle. What does it mean to you to have this type of a bike shop right here in the middle of Midtown?
That's great. I live a couple of blocks down the road, and it's handy. Just walk right over here with my bike. So
How'd you discover it?
I just rode past it.
And what type of bicycle do you have?
Just a road bike. So my boyfriend and I will be able to go for bike rides now that the bike's going to be fixed. So
And so you're just coming in for general repairs?
just for a tire.
Just brought it in.
Yeah.
Tire repair, and we're probably delaying you a little bit by doing this right now, but I was told the tire repairs could happen very quickly. Where's your favorite place to go for a bike ride in the Harrisburg area?
Along the river on the path. Yeah.
Have you done like the Cameron Parkway, parts of the Greenbelt, which are
Yeah,
those are spectacular, right?
Yeah. Very nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, wonderful. Have you registered your bicycle?
No.
Well, one thing that they offer, and I think this is good, is you can register your bicycle here, and then if it's ever stolen, they'll have all the details and information in the database. Probably worth doing.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah.
All right. So not only have folks come in for maintenance of their bikes, but we have already sold a bicycle today to none other than City Business Development Director Devin Drabeck. Devin, what attracted you to this beautiful model?
It's so old school. This is something I can't get at a Walmart or something like that. They just don't make them like this anymore.
No, it has a vintage feel. And how about the color?
Oh, I love it. It's so fun and so summery. It'll be great for commuting to the office.
Well, bike to work. That's what we want. But I heard as you were speaking, so there was one thing you didn't like about the bike. You weren't so sure about the grips. They look a little old. And so voila.
I love all the little things are great, but these look really worn. They're going to take care of that right now.
That's great.